Hey there, guys. So I want to thank you, as always, for taking the time to join today's live stream. So, for today's live stream, of course, we're going to talk about gut health and fitness. But of course, before I do begin, I do want to mention my website, which is bponlinefitness.com. A ton of information on there related to online fitness coaching, as well as information when it comes to various topics related to fitness, nutrition, recovery, all free for you to access there. I do have a blog that I upload to each and every week. I'll also send out an email newsletter if you sign up to my email list, which when you scroll down to the bottom of the page, you can sign up to that email list. There is a ton of great information on there. And of course, there's information on there to learn a little bit more about what I offer as it relates to online coaching. So feel free to check that out. And I will have a new offer coming up pretty soon. I don't have it posted yet, but I will be working on that and sharing that with you guys as it relates to online coaching. But with all that being said, guys, let's go ahead and talk about today's topic, which is gut health and fitness. So, this topic, we're going to be discussing a ton of different things, and there's a lot to really keep in mind when it comes to really paying attention to the importance of fitness as it relates to gut health. Sorry, I had to fix my screen there. For some reason, my screen gets out of whack sometimes. So, the topics we're going to discuss here today are what exactly is the gut, how microbiome impacts fitness health, signs your gut is holding you back from your gains, prebiotics versus probiotics, gut health and fat loss, as well as recovery starting in the gut. So, there's a lot of different things we're going to talk about today, and I'm going to try to, of course, as always, really clear up some of the confusion when it comes to various topics, as well as some of the terms that sort of get thrown around when it comes to, the health and fitness space. So the first point here we're going to talk about is what exactly is the gut and what does it do? So, understanding the gut is also known as the gastrointestinal tract or known as the GI tract. It is a long tube that starts at your mouth and ends at the rectum. It is responsible for digesting food, absorbing nutrients, and removing waste. The stomach breaks down food, of course, using enzymes and acids. The small intestine absorbs nutrients like proteins, carbs, fats, vitamins, and minerals. And then the large intestine, which is known as the colon, is absorbing water and houses trillions of beneficial bacteria. So the gut microbiome is the community of bacteria, fungi, and other microbes, living in your gut. These play a key role in digestion, immune function, and even mental health. So overall, this is basically what the gut is. I know that you've probably heard people say, having a healthy gut and this and that, and you're not really sure exactly what that was. I know for the longest time I didn't really understand what people were talking about when they always mention the gut. But basically, again, what the gut is the GI tract. It's your stomach, it's your small intestine, your large intestines, it's mostly the digesting part of your body is what makes up your gut. So just keep that in mind that it includes a lot of different systems as it relates to, of course, anatomy and things of that nature. So the next point we're going to talk about is how microbiome impacts fitness health. So, like what I just discussed previously, microbiome has to do with a lot of bacteria within the intestines. And this isn't necessarily a bad thing because some of these bacteria have benefits to them, for our body and our overall health. So, the microbiome is the collection of bacteria, fungi, and other microbes in your body. It plays a crucial role in digestion, metabolism, and immune function. So, nutrient absorption, and muscle growth. So this helps to digest proteins and absorb amino acids essential for muscle repair, supports the absorption of critical nutrients like iron, magnesium, vitamin D. So depending on your diet, of course, the microbiome is going to help with, of course, the absorption, of nutrients and to help in aiding with muscle growth. Metabolism and weight regulation. This part of the body also is going to help with balancing energy storage and fat metabolism. An imbalanced microbiome can contribute to fat gain or hinder fat loss, so keep that in mind as well. So again, what you put in the microbiome is, of course, your diet. Whatever you put in your diet is what it's going to get, and it's going to use that as a way for, of course, digestion, metabolism, and your immune function. So when you give it the proper nutrients, of course, it's going to benefit you. If you're not giving it the proper nutrients, then you're going to notice a difference in how you feel. And we're going to discuss that a little bit further because how you feel can sort of make a difference as well as, sort of an indicator of your health, of course, because it's not really just about, you know, how you look on the outside, of course, physically, but with your overall internal organs and things of that nature, you're going to notice a difference in how you feel depending on the type of nutrients that you consume, of course. So continuing on, and sort of again, progressing forward. If you guys do have questions about any of this, feel free to let me know and leave a comment. Again, I do want to really clear up a lot of these different terms that get thrown around. So, signs your gut is holding you back from your gains. So, there's different signs to keep in mind. And again, like I mentioned previously with the microbiome, a lot of it has to do with, of course, what you consume in your nutrition. Your nutrition makes up a lot of the results that you get from the gym, as I've mentioned in many previous live streams. So, what you're going to notice when it comes to, signs that you're having poor gut health and that this could be contributing negatively to your overall fitness routine is if you're getting frequent bloating, gas, or diarrhea, low energy despite proper nutrition, persistent muscle soreness and slow recovery, unexplained weight gain or loss, joint pain or stiffness, disrupted sleep patterns, low testosterone or reduced performance, increased cortisol levels, which is a stress hormone. Again, I discussed a little bit about cortisol in the last presentation, excuse me. And I believe in a previous presentation not too long ago, I did discuss cortisol. So cortisol again is basically, of course, a stress hormone, and if you don't get enough sleep and recovery, usually that's going to increase your cortisol levels. Another thing to keep in mind is that frequent colds or infections can, of course, be against your gut health, as well as long recovery time from illness. So there's a lot of things to keep in mind and basically symptoms to be aware of. If your, gut health is not in check, it can be detrimental to the progress that you make in the gym. So the next topic is about prebiotics versus probiotics. So there's different things to keep in mind, of course, when it comes to gut health in itself. As we've just discussed, there's a lot of things. And like I mentioned before, bacteria and fungi is a lot of what is helping your body, do the things it needs to do to stay healthy and, to really regulate the body's systems. So, what is the difference between probiotic and prebiotic? You've likely heard these terms before if you, maybe listen to any health podcasts or you listen to any particular videos or watch TV, you've likely heard these terms before. So, what are they? So, prebiotics is a non digestible fiber that feeds back beneficial gut bacteria. Probiotics is a live beneficial bacteria that helps balance the gut microbiome. So, like I mentioned before, this is all, interconnected back into nutrition. So, prebiotics, you can get the sources for these for prebiotics, again, which is the non digestible fiber for gut bacteria. You can get this in garlic, onions, leeks, asparagus, bananas, and oats. So that's where you're going to get that particular type of, fiber is from those particular foods. Probiotics, again, is a beneficial bacteria helping to balance the gut microbiome. So you're going to get this from yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, kimchi, kombucha, and miso. So again, it's all dependent on the types of foods you consume. Now, if you're having a good balance between these, this can be both beneficial. Of course, when you're choosing foods, keep in mind you do want to try to limit, your processed foods. And like I've mentioned before, it's not like processed foods are the worst thing in the world. You can have them in your diet. It's just about how much that you limit them in your diet is what matters. So how do these work? How do both of these, different types of fibers and bacteria work, the prebiotics and probiotics? So prebiotics is fuel for gut bacteria. It's promoting growth and activity in the body, and probiotics is introducing new bacteria, beneficial bacteria to the gut. So what you're going to get a lot when it comes to basically probiotics. So understanding the difference here, and that's what I want to clear up, is that with probiotics, that's basically more of helping with, the immune system side of things. And then with prebiotics, you're basically helping to, promote growth and activity in the body a little bit more. Whereas on the other hand, we're focusing on immune function, metabolism, things of that nature when you're consuming those particular types of foods that are, of course, in probiotics and prebiotics. So the next point I want to talk about is gut health and fat loss. So I know that most of the time when I talk about, fitness goals, I do mention a lot about muscle gain. And I do want to, again, really try to balance the two out because I don't mention fat loss as often. So what I want to talk about today, of course, is talking about how this can make a difference towards fat loss when you pay attention to your gut health. So again, the role of the microbiome or the role of the gut microbiome is your gut bacteria influences that metabolism and fat storage. A healthy gut reduces inflammation and promotes fat loss. So this can make, of course, a difference. Like I mentioned in the previous slide, when you consume more of those types of foods, that's going to make a difference in how you feel and your digestive system itself. So there are different signs to keep in mind of poor gut health, and I'm going to reiterate it. I did just touch on it a few slides ago, but again, that's bloating, gas, and irregular digestion, cravings for sugar and processed foods, persistent persistent fatigue and slow recovery, and then how poor gut health affects fat loss. Of course, it can disrupt metabolism. Like I've mentioned, a lot of this has to do with metabolism and immune function. So if you have, a disrupted metabolism and you're not getting the proper nutrients, that's going to give you inefficient energy use and fat storage. Hormonal imbalance, again, as I mentioned with cortisol, cortisol is going to increase when you have more stress, when you're not getting proper sleep. And this is going to reduce insulin sensitivity, which in turn contributes to fat gain. Inflammation is promoting weight gain more and water retention. So, again, reducing inflammation has to do with a lot of what you consume in your nutrients. And again, going back to like what I mentioned with prebiotics and probiotics and the sources of foods from those, that's what you need to focus on more if you wanted to limit these different aspects of, sort of symptoms of, gaining fat. So recovery starts in the gut. So like I mentioned a little bit when we're talking about, when sleep and cortisol levels and things of that nature, that is very, contributes a lot to whether you're going to reach your goal or not. Because if you're not giving your body enough recovery and rest, it does make a difference in how soon you do reach your result that you're looking for, or if it's going to sort of backpedal into not reaching those results. So, the foundation of optimal health. Why gut health matters for recovery. Of course, nutrient absorption is essential for muscle repair and energy restoration. Inflammation control. A healthy gut reduces chronic inflammation, speeding up recovery. Hormonal balance. Gut health affects cortisol, like I mentioned before, testosterone, and serotonin levels. If you're a guy that is, of course, wanting to increase testosterone, your diet does make a difference. It also does another thing that does contribute to increasing testosterone can have to do with your workouts. I know we're not necessarily talking about, the workout and fitness side of things as much today, but one thing I do want to mention when it comes to testosterone is that you can increase testosterone through various different exercises. When you're doing lower body based workouts, that actually contributes a lot to increasing your testosterone. So keep that in mind. And a lot of guys are very, sort of, I guess, I wouldn't say insecure, but they're not really in particular wanting to focus on lower body workouts for various reasons. I'm not sure why. But when you target the lower body, it does make a difference. Again, it's not just about, building that lower body strength in itself, but also that it plays a role in hormones. And just keep that in mind if you're somebody who is, a guy who's wanting to increase testosterone, that your workouts as well as your nutrition contribute to that as well. So, signs of poor gut health may be slower in recovery. Again, this is constant fatigue, which in turn is going to lead to slower muscle recovery. Any bloating, gas, and digestive discomfort that you have, you're going to notice that too as well, that there are some issues with what you're consuming in your diet. Increased susceptibility to illness and injury. If you get, sick very often, or you get, of course, are very susceptible to any sort of injury, this is going to make a difference to what you consume in your nutrition, as well as, of course, your gut health itself. So, how to support gut health for cut, excuse me, how to support gut health for faster recovery. Of course, you want to prioritize whole foods, high in fiber, vitamins, and minerals, fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. And again, it all comes full circle. I know in a lot of these live streams, I've touched on so many different topics, but the really central point to all of this is about consuming whole foods. It's about consuming the least processed foods that you can consume. It's going to make a difference a ton in how you feel when you consume these types of foods. It's not just gut health, but it's in every aspect, whether you're trying to reach your goal or whether you really want to just get more healthier and feel healthier. It makes a difference when you consume more whole foods. So that's all you need to do. The way to support gut health and helping to aid in recovery, you just need to focus more on whole foods. And then in turn, you want to incorporate prebiotics and probiotics, which I just mentioned in that previous slide just a few moments ago. We talked a little bit about yogurt, about onions, anything of that sort. If you're consuming those types of foods, the prebiotics and probiotics, that's going to help with your microbiome, again, helping with gut health. And again, when we're talking about gut health, it's going to help influence metabolism as well as being able to influence, your immunity, immune function, things of that nature. It can also be important to stay hydrated. When you drink enough fluids, when you drink enough water, that is actually helping and aiding in your digestive system. When you have that combination of high in fiber, having prebiotics and probiotics sources in your foods, as well as proper hydration, you're going to have healthy gut no matter what if you just focus on doing those central things. So, I know that I touched on a lot of stuff, but I really hope that everything was pretty clear. Again, going back to what the gut is, it's the gastrointestinal tract. It's basically the intestines. You've got the small intestine, large intestine, as well as, just your overall digestive system itself. That's what the GI tract is, or what the gut is. When you hear that term, that is what people are talking about. So I hope that you guys found this helpful and valuable. Again, I hope that it was understandable, that it gave you some insight on what you should focus on. And I hope that this was simple. I really wanted to make this topic simple. And I know a lot of topics, especially when we're talking about specific aspects, like if we're talking about the GI tract or we're talking about, specific things like we're talking about immune system, metabolism, things of that nature, it can get kind of cloudy to really understanding all of these points because we get a lot of information thrown at us. But I hope that you guys found this helpful and valuable. I really enjoy sharing this information. I love talking about these topics. Anything related to fitness and nutrition, I enjoy, which is why I do this and why I want to share this information that's free for you guys to access because I feel like it's very insightful. And I feel like if, I can share something like this within 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and that it gives you a little bit more insight on what you can do as far as your fitness, nutrition, and health overall, that it just, it makes a major difference. So thank you guys once again. I do have my website, of course, which is vponlinefitness.com. Please feel free to check that out. There are free resources, excuse me, there are free resources on there as it relates to fitness, nutrition, of course, and as well as recovery. Again, I have a blog on there that you can check out, as well as you can sign up for my email list, where I always send out a new newsletter each week, and I keep you updated with live streams such as this throughout the week as well. So thank you guys once again. If you have any questions about anything I discussed, you can leave a comment. Of course, you can message me as well here on Facebook, or of course, this stream will be uploaded to YouTube as well for you to view in its entirety. But thank you guys for all your support. I really enjoy again doing these topics and doing live streams like this. So just let me know your feedback and if you have any questions. But thank you guys, and I will see you guys next Wednesday at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time in the next live stream.